So let me sit back. Keeping this body relaxed. And first, let me take a deep breath in and exhale. And one more time, a deep breath in and exhale. Now this body is relaxed. And now visualize your own self in front of you. And look into your eyes and tell to yourself, I see your pain, and I also see your courage. I see your pain, and I also see your courage. You have gone through a lot in this life. So many experiences. And now I've come to realize that deep inside you, you have a lot of courage. Even though you may not realize it. But you do. And you have a lot of willpower, hope that you have carried with you all throughout your journey. And that is why you have entered this journey of spirituality, because you want to know how valuable you are. And you want to make all your relationships valuable. And today, you will learn the ability to let go of what is pulling you down. It's not worth it. It is not important to keep any more within, because you are much more precious. Today I will learn that art, how to discard what is no longer necessary in my life. Om Shanti. Okay. Om Shanti. Welcome.
Om Shanti.
So today is another important power that we will discover, power to let go. And oftentimes people say, it was easy for me to forgive, but it's not easy for me to forget. Right? Have you all experienced that? We feel it was easy to forgive at that time, but we could still be carrying those impressions, those feelings within us, even though it could have been years. Today, this very, very important power that I, the soul, have, this power to let go. And how can I improve on this power? And how can I be able to let go of anything within me that I'm holding? And even in the future, anything that would happen, how can I let it go and not be carrying on with it for days and months and years? So, Jayshree, would you like to begin? You're muted.
Yeah, here. Okay. So everybody, did you guys do your homework for the power to withdraw? Our first power? If you got the power, did you, I think you probably did, didn't you? Somewhat thought about it sometimes, just something better than you used to do, correct? A little bit, because that's very important for us to begin learning about more powers. Like I said, they are kind of, after I studied them with the different literature and spiritual leaders and learned from many other people and everything, I realized that you want that power to, the first power, to be in effect as much as possible for you to carry out most of the powers effectively. Of course, we can carry out fourth and fifth and seventh power, but it won't be as efficient. So let's go back over it. I am going to send you the copies because she sent me that. I'm supposed to send it to you now. I have that today and I will send it out to you this evening or tomorrow. Okay. So listen to Power to Withdraw's lecture last time. Also listen to the YouTube video of 8 spiritual powers, and then you will continue to understand deeper and deeper meaning of it. Each time you'll get deeper and deeper. So having exercised that power to withdraw, let me sum it up quickly. Basically, I would call not power to withdraw, because power to withdraw can give you some negative connotation. It looks like that you're running away from the situation, but you are not actually. So I would call it power to protect. Because anytime any situation comes, which is unfavorable to us, can keep some emotional disturbance in our mind and our body, which can lead into the physical illness also. So once we start learning to protect ourselves before you take care of the situation, you stop the damage. You are, whatever situation is going to give you some frustration, some impact, something is going to happen, but at least your emotional impact is limited by doing a power to protect. It's like going through the power to, going in your shell like a turtle, right? Just like Parvati ji. So that's what we had compared with it. That stay in the world, but still stay detached. And being that way, you'll be able to take care of the situations even much better, right? Because you're going to pause, understand other point of view. And so you're going to detach yourself, identify your role identity. You're going to go ahead and disengage your emotions, attach to the situation and attach to the identity. You're going to pause. You're going to understand the other person. That's going to give us compassion. And that way, by being compassionate, you de-energize your negativity coming from our side to them and affecting our body. And now you can protect yourself. Okay. So that is just the summary of what we talked about. Not very much in detail, but listen to the tape last week's and also to the YouTube video. So now let's move on to the power to let go. This is also very profound power. Very, very profound. What are we planning to let go? Let go the situation. Let go the past images, past stories, something which had left you some scar. There could be a tiny little story, but left you a long, bigger scar. Maybe you're thinking about some person, situations, even ego, letting go the ego. A lot of different things come in the picture. Even letting go somebody you are holding on for a long time, like your boyfriend, and it's about to move on. And it's very difficult for you to make a decision and let it go, who is negative in your life. So there are many things you can do, and as a different aspects. So anytime what is holding you on to your best potential is where you apply power to let go. It could be a minute ago. If I made a mistake in talking right now, and if I keep on chintaning on that, that's where I need power to let go. Or something happened years ago, or something happened in the past, like an abuse, or some kind of any very heavy stuff. Adultering, your husband went out with a woman, or a spouse, I shouldn't say husband only. Something, any kind of betray. Anything can be, big or small. But if it leaves you any scar or saps you from any potential of being happy, then it's a power to let go. Okay, so why is it difficult? So we understand what is power to let go now. But why is it difficult? The difficult is because there is a, people kind of like, it's kind of fulfilling in a way. It's fulfilling in a way that it allows you to live like that, which can justify some of the things you do now. Even though you know it as a negative energy coming from that, you understand that's not right. You understand that's bad. It happened. Keeping the power there, your attention to something you have no control. You still keep on doing it because it's kind of fulfilling. There is a familiarity and there is a comfort zone. That's why you don't want to get out of it. There is a fear, that is afraid that if I let go, sometimes letting go on somebody who was very lovable to you and passed away. So you have fear. If I let go of him or her, am I considered that I don't love him or her? Different kind of fear, different kind of approaches, and different reasons. And at times, many times you will feel, we keep doing what we are doing right now, and we blame it to the past. Oh, I had a child abuse, that's why I'm supposed to go ahead and be depressed. Because it's associated with something happening in the past. If you go to a psychiatrist, they will tell you that, you know what, you have a history of abuse before, that's why you have a personality problem. All those different things can have a negative impact, but you can justify your depression or you're not feeling good or not being happy to that action. That's why you feel comfortable there, even though it's negative. So that's why it's called familiarity. And that's why it's very difficult to give up. Like I said, homeless people do not want to come out of that homelessness many a times. Even if the government gives them the residence and everything, they go there for a while, but come back here. Because that justifies the pitifulness. It justifies what they're doing right now. Different things are there. So that's why it's not easy to let go. And that's when we have to understand that how does it help and what do we have in line if we let go. So once you understand the equation, that what is it right now versus what I have in plate for me coming up, which I'm blocking, then it becomes a little easier. So that's what we are going to try to do today, to explain. And we all have something or other, believe me, right? It's not somebody who has a big problems like, divorce or husband passing away or somebody betraying you or somebody has a child abuse or even any kind of a scar which left different things in your mind. Somebody really cheated you, many different things. Every day is happening actually. So in that case, how do we go ahead and then approach the whole situation. So, of course, you had the power to withdraw. So you're going to stop the damage and protect yourself. But now is the second step before we are fully functional. That how to go ahead and make ourselves unstoppable. Unstoppable is the beautiful word for power to let go. Because what happens? Why should we let go, right? So we want to make sure that we don't want to cling on to the things before, what was there before. So the first thing, what it does to you. So let us understand the negative part of it. What happens when you're clinging on to it? When you're clinging on to it, you know that you have all these justifications and familiarity and all those things, but you still have a negative and it's not unstoppable. You are not unstoppable. You are blocking your own energy and your potential. So now let's look at the other side. Number one thing, what does it do? It robs your present moment. Whenever you think about past, that particular moment is gone. And then that's what happens. We call it the robbing of the moment. That present moment could be bringing you beautiful situation, beautiful happiness, beautiful incidents, anything. But you are robbing your present. So now what happens when you rob your presence? Right? So your present is robbed. You cannot be in present what is happening right now. If I'm watching a movie, cannot watch the movie beautifully if I'm still thinking about something. When the movie scene comes and you are thinking about something related to the movie, at that time you're diverted. And when you're diverted, you lost out on the present, what movie had to entertain you with, right? So something similar. So second thing, what does it do? It stops your progress. It doesn't let you progress in whatever you are doing. Suppose if you are doing something and suppose if I'm writing an essay, which is due in 2 days, and I want to write that essay. But if I'm carried away by my past thoughts, I'm not as efficient, right? It'll take me longer to write. So it holds my progress. I could have finished and I could have done something more. I could have done some extra credit work. You can do so many things to get extra brownie points. You want to earn all those things, but you ran out of the time because your time was taken away by something which you are holding on to. So anytime any sin comes pertaining to that, immediately the light bulb goes on and you lose your time. And we all have that, right? We do that. So that's the time to realize what I don't want my present to be gone. I want to make the maximum out of it. And that's where your progress is going to be there. So, and the third thing, right? So you're robbing your present. You are not allowed, your progress is less hampered. And the third thing, that it is going to stop you from your best potential. Because when you are fully concentrated, when you are fresh, like in the morning, right? Your potential is so high. When you have knowledge, when you have that, you want to apply all your talents to the best. And your potential is also lowered. So not only success for what you are already doing and what you already know, but something could be doing more with your potential, but because you are holding on to your past, is lowering your potential to do things better, to do things, not only progress in the things you are doing better, but to do something more creative, to use your potential to do something out of the world, something offbeat. And that's where you are unstoppable, right? So you cannot be unstoppable if you are being held by something. So that's the beautiful thing about the power to let go, because you become unstoppable. You just do, sky is the limit after that. What's the fourth thing? It stops you from getting physically, because emotional not well-being also hurts you, right? So physical illness slowly starts. When you are holding on to past for a long, long time, one of them being depression, right? One of them being personality disorder. A lot of different things can happen. And what happens then? end up hurting your physical body. Then the domino effect starts, right? All these things, when you are not well, again, same thing. And then we start blaming our past. So you get into this, the vicious circle. That's very, very, very important that we realize that. What else can we? We expand our stories. The fifth thing you can do is expand your stories. What is story? You know, I had taken a beautiful course of Landmark. Beautiful. I recommend anybody, anytime. So when when you go to those classes and explain, what they do, they have 2 boards. In one board, they write down about whatever story is in your mind, whatever story, okay? That somebody was talking bad about me. Let's take that as an example. And then Mrs. A talked bad about me. Mrs. B comes and tells me that this is what A told me. So then I hear that, right? And so what they tell you and all those things, they don't talk and go into details of anybody's business. They just give you the facts like what we are doing here, and we discover. So the purpose of this lecture is to find your own situation, find your own story, and discover where you can apply that, right? So what they do, they will tell you what exactly happened. That's one board. Exactly what happened, right? Not what exactly happened here, that Mrs. B told me something. That's what exactly happened. What is the story? That Mrs. B said this one because Mrs. A was saying something. And so that's the story. Mrs. A had this thing in her mind. Mrs. A had this agenda in her mind. Mrs. A doesn't like me. That's why she said bad about me. Maybe she's jealous of me. Maybe she wants me to go down so she can look better. Or maybe there is a monetary reward there by pushing me down. Maybe she doesn't want me to be successful. So many things you think are all stories. So that goes into the second blackboard. So in the one blackboard, exactly what happened. And that was only one thing which happened. That Mrs. B told me that Mrs. A tells me that she does not like Jayshree. Right? That's exactly what happened. And Mrs. B told you, not Mrs. A. Right? Now, what are the rest of the things are? Completely under stories. That's not what exactly happened. Right? So we expand our stories when you hold on to the past. There could be a small thing which happened. But we think so much of that as a story and then make it so magnified. And now you live with that, holding on to the story, not only this thing, exactly what happened, but even hold on to the stories of that. So when we don't let go, the story goes with it too. So we are into not what exactly happened, but into the things which are all stories. And they are all made up by us. Thinking about past of hers, oh, Mrs. A was like that 5 years ago. No wonder she told this thing to Mrs. B. Right? She could have changed. She could, but we are not giving her the opportunity. So based on that past, the story starts and becomes a story, not what exactly happened. So we expand the stories. So how many things we have? We rob the present. We are less successful. Our potential is less. We damage our body, we are not allowing we are all expanding our stories by holding on to the past. And we are also missing out on the joy what present moment was going to bring. Maybe Mrs. A was going to come today to my lecture and was going to say, oh, you know what? I like it. But since I know somebody told me this, even if she comes, she thinks, oh, maybe she just came to show me, right? All those things will come instead of getting a joy that, oh, she came. Anytime somebody's trying to be better, that particular person who gave you the bad things and the stories are there, It's not allowing you to have a joy of the present moment from the same person or from the same past thing. Look how many things went wrong. Now, why would we hold on to that? You don't want to be even physically ill. You don't want to let go of your potential. You want to be unstoppable. That's the landmark word I love so much. That be unreasonable and unstoppable. It's such a beautiful thing I've learned from them. And landmark has all the students from and the professors from big universities. And they quote even Gandhiji too. So their teaching is very, very nice. And those plus learn from Sister Shivani, learn from Dada Bhagwan, so many other gurus, they all will tell you that why we should not let go. We should always let go. And why to use the power to let go, right? It's so important for us to know. So that's what I want you to do. I was actually listening to one of the TED Talks. I love TED Talks. And there was a lady, I think she's 41 years old or something. And then she said that she was, she had a friend who she was with for 12 years. Okay. And she had always been with him and he had little reservations, a lot of different things, but they loved each other a lot every time. But then he had something what was not allowing him to let go his past. Okay. So then when she realized it, and one time there was an opportunity to get into a beautiful real estate apartment or some nice home or whatever out of town. And she wanted to go there. So she told her boyfriend, come and see, let's go there. He doesn't show up, makes up a reason. Then they talk about it again, and then they decide to go and do it again. And then he still doesn't show up. So that's the time something clicked in her mind that made her realize power to let go. So here, this is a different story. It's not only the past thing or bad things, but here that she cannot make a progress. She was 41. Her biological clock was not ticking. They were not getting married. They were just having good time. They didn't know, they said, I'm having good time. I have no problem. I don't have any problem. Why should I let go? What is myself? So they were so comfortable and they were not doing it. Then she realized it and she did moved on and found and slowly got over her boyfriend, got married and had a different totally, and now she says she's unstoppable, right? So she says there are 5 things you should let go. So if I quote her, I would say that let go what other people think about you. Because there are 90% of the people will not be talking good about you. Actually 80%, 10% may be in between, and only 10% will be raving about you. So don't think about, let go those people who do not think good about you. So that's what she said. Let go what, so just raving those people who are 10%, treasure that, but also do not hang on to those. So it's not important, right? In my spiritual teaching, sometimes I use the word not important because it is absolutely not important. What other people think of you, right? Let go something you are not. That's the second thing she talked about. Let go something you are not. Suppose if I want to be the most beautiful figure thing or aesthetically pleasing, or maybe I'm not very beautiful looking. I'm not very, there are different things which you think that you are, you cannot be. Let go those things, what you are not. That you can always try, but if you're not, if you have diabetes, you have diabetes. You try to get rid of the diabetes, you work on it, but you let go. You don't let the diabetes take over you, right? So all those different things, you just let go. So what you are not, you try, but let go. Then they're saying that, let go, taking things personally. If anybody tells you bad things, there will be so many people will talk bad about you all the time, especially in your households also you'll find. Mom, you didn't do this right. Well, wife will say something, husband will say something, right? because they want you to be like what they want us to be in their images. And then you try to become Miss Mother, Miss Wife, Miss this, and not happy at the end. So you don't want to take things personally. If somebody takes anything, let go for taking things personally. Yeah? Then you want to let go to be perfect. You do not always want to try to be perfect. It's okay. Sometimes if you are not perfect, it's okay. You try to be perfect, but not hold on to, if it doesn't happen, it should not bother you. You always try to be better. But that's only BTY, better than yesterday. But we are not going to be trying to be perfect. It's only better, right? And let go of not yet. Oh, somebody asks you to do that. Can you do this? Not yet. Let's do this. Somebody comes and says, okay, you are ready to do your solar power in your house. What you say? Oh, not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. So let go that. So let go all these 5 things. It was beautiful TED Talk by the TED Talk lady. And so anytime, anything to let go, you have so many benefits. So many benefits. So think about that. Don't cling on to that. Don't lose your presence. Don't lose your potential. Don't lose your success. Don't damage your emotional body. Don't deprive yourself from the joy the present moment was going to bring it to you. Don't expand your stories. And don't forget, don't stop, don't take anything personally. Do not stop moving to the next step. You want to take a next step. If you had it enough for something which you don't think you can do with, you may have to move on. You do not want somebody to take your completely, their comments, their thing, your self-esteem, your self-power. So these are all the power to let go and see how many benefits we have. Tremendously, right? So how do you exactly, it's not easy to get over certain things in your past. So how do you do it? What do we do? So that's what we want to know here, that what do you want to do? What do you think? How can we apply that moment of us? That how do we do it? So they say that it's because it's so fulfilling. So many times you justify your actions because of that. So what do you want to do? So they say that, treat it like a child. It's kind of compared with Durga, Mata Durga, right? So Durga Mata is sitting on the lion and is declaring the victory of all the demons of the past. And that's what the Durga Mata is doing. So one was Parvati Mata, now second power is compared to Durga Mata. So we want to get rid of those. We want to conquer on all those demons. What has happened in our life? What is holding on to our progress? What's holding on our potential? Who is not making us unstoppable? So that's what you want to do. So think about that, being in the lion and declaring it. How do we do that? I will have Sister Vino say something first, then maybe I'll say something. Yeah, Sister Vino.
For us, power to let go is basically to let go of fears or to let go of habits. And it's basically for me to first check what is it that I'm holding in my memories. And for this, just give me a moment.
We lost her, huh?
Sorry, there is a short disconnection. So what I was saying is that to really let go, the first thing that I learned, I think personally from my experiences, I need to love myself and I need to equally discipline myself. And how do I do that? Is to let go of my perspective first. And Jayshree beautifully she have stated all the steps. But I think the reason why sometimes we feel it is a little hard to let go of something is because if I let go of this, where else do I hang on to? We always want to hang on to something. So if I take my anchor out from this, that means I have another place to anchor on. I think I like to always connect with personal experiences because I'm more of a sharing stories and sharing experiences. For me, there were two moments in my life where I witnessed power to let go very strongly. And the first moment was being here with, of course, with student visa. And then after that, working. My visa then came to an end. And at that time, this country was going through some economy depression where getting, green card was tough. And companies were not prolonging H1 visas. So, and I was a little heartbroken because I had to go back to Malaysia. But I've sort of became very familiar to this place and to the family here and to the service. So it's very hard for me to leave behind and go back to Malaysia. And I remember the night before, I was crying, just crying and crying. And I was telling Gitavan, I don't want to go back. I'm not ready to go back. And I sat in Baba's room, connected with Baba. The day before, I was, just before going to the airport. And actually, Gitavan organized a surprise farewell party. So there was like 70, 80 people in the center, and I couldn't stop crying. And then they looked at me and they couldn't stop crying. And there goes the whole party, just in tears, because I felt this is the end for me. I felt, okay, I don't know if I'll even come back. But I remember I just told Baba that I don't care how, I don't care when, but I will come back here. And just that one thought, I said, okay, if this is in my drama, I accept, but I know one day I'll come back. So I just kept that thought. I took my flight. I came back to Malaysia. Then, my family was there, parents, siblings, went with them. But still, I think it took me a few weeks to get accustomed to the environment there, got a job there, started working. But my whole heart, my whole mind was just here, even though I was there. And after that, I got used to it. I said, okay, if it's in my destiny to come back, then I will. So I moved on, started focusing on my present life there with different services there. But I remember the following year, I think after 10 months being in Malaysia, I got a letter from the US Embassy saying that I won a green card in the lottery. So they said you can come back to US. And it was a surprise for me. It was the least thing that I expected. And the night before I was going to leave, that was when actually my mom told me this. She never told me this for a long time, but she shared with me. She said that, the whole time you were there, I know you were there for service. And in fact, I wanted you to pursue the spiritual life and the spiritual service. It's a honor for us when you do that. But I had a very deep part in me that I was missing you. And I wouldn't, that I couldn't see you as much as I wanted. So she told Papa, she said, okay, Papa, I want to see her just one time. I want to see her one time. After that, you take her with you. After that, it's okay, but just one time. So I said, now I know why it came in my drama that I had to return back. Because Baba had to fulfill her desire too. And also it became a good thing that I returned back, because now when I come back to US, I didn't have to come back on a visa. I came with a green card that I won in the lottery. So the first moment of my power to let go that I realized was for me to let go of what has been familiar for me. And now a new path is starting. It wasn't easy though. Definitely wasn't easy. But then I told myself, okay, if it is in my destiny, it will come back to me again. But right now, I have a new chapter. I have a new focus. So I'm going to pay attention being here. So then that's why I was able to let go of my memories here. And then it came back when I came back here. And for my mother, she was very satisfied seeing me. And then when I was leaving, that's when she shared, she said, Baba fulfilled my desire too. I was able to see you. I was there in Malaysia for exactly 1 year before returning back to US with a green card. And it's sort of like a win-win situation for both of us. Even though in the beginning it may felt as if for me it was a loss. But I think, once I started to understand later, now I could see it's definitely a win-win situation. And think personally what, of course there are many more experiences, but one deep realization I had was that to let go of a familiar ground means to hold on to something bigger.
Yes.
And we may not know how that path will be, but do you want it? Is it something you want it? If you want it, then okay. You can let go. It may not come easy. Again and again, memories will come. But then you tell yourself, something bigger is waiting for me. Something better is waiting for me. And you keep telling yourself that. And eventually your focus will shift. Right? So this is the one thing that I personally learned. To let go of familiar means to first hold on to something greater, something
Right.
better.
Very
Then
true.
it is easier to let go. Yeah. And again, no doubt, the journey may not come easy. The journey will come with a lot of doubt, with a lot of anxiousness, unsure. But if it is something you want, if you feel this is something great and you feel this is something best, then go for it. No matter how much you feel nervous, go for it. Yeah.
Very nice. So we talk about the solution part now, or does anybody have any question?
Yeah.
You want to say something about the solution, or?
You can go ahead, I'll add on.
I personally think that this is for solution wise, like most of the time, like have that thought in your mind that there's something bigger waiting for you, and you have all these benefits by letting it go. But sometimes you can't. So it's like child is, I remember Sister Shivani's words. One time I was listening to the lecture, and then she had a lecture on something similar. And then she said that always think like there is a child. Child is playing with a harmful toy. And you do not want the child to play with that toy. And child doesn't want to let go. They know it's harmful. They know there are all the benefits are there. Just like here, we hold on to something which is harmful, but there is familiar. That's why it's, even though it's negatively, it's based on negativity, but you still hold on to that. So same thing, child doesn't want to. But then how do you get that? So by giving another toy, which is not harmful, and distracting that. So, and then she said, how do you distract yourself? And how do we do that for the distraction? Is the using the affirmations in meditation. So meditate on affirmations. And one of the things I took it down from what she had taken, when I listened to her, It doesn't take me 25, 30 minutes, even though that's how longer things are. 20 to 20. I chintan, I write it down, I analyze it, and it takes me long. So I have taken it down, which I would like to read here. You know, it's also in my YouTube video, Spiritual Powers, that I have mentioned that part. So you can go. So can we meditate on that? But before I meditate, because you want to meditate on that, then come back to you and then meditate again, or you want to keep this as a last? How do you want to do?
Yeah, there's
So
actually
maybe
a question.
first.
There is a question in the chat box. So I think we can put
We
that
take
as
care
our
of those.
last, as our
Yeah.
last meditation.
Yeah.
So there's a question here in the chat box. It says, someone you have trusted whole life hurt you deeply. How can you let it go? I'm trying, but it keeps on playing in my mind. Okay. So this is I would personally say I think this has been commonly happening in many people's lives. We get a lot of phone calls here pertaining to this subject of hurt, this subject of betrayal. So again, when someone did that, whatever was their choice of actions, and it hurt me, one thing I have to realize is it is a choice that they made, and it's a karmic account that they have created. And if I were to take it personally for me, it's like me suffering for someone's karma, actually. And so if I have go on carrying this impression that how can they do this to me? Why did they do this to me? What happened is that I can actually feel low. I can feel myself being small, and I can feel myself as if I am not respected, I'm not worth to be respected or loved. And I think that would really, really deeply hurt us, because yes, no doubt, when it's a family member that hurt is bigger, because in a family, expectations are very great. Expectations and the feeling that each should fulfill each other's need is definitely great. If I'm able to do that for them, very good. If they are able to do that for me, excellent. But what if the other soul is unable to do, right? And they make different choices, and it hurts me. So now comes the question is, do I need to hurt myself for someone else's choice of actions? Do I need to carry on with this impression for someone else's choice? I can ask myself this question: do I want to carry forward? Or I said, okay, it was their choice, it is their karma. You know what? I would not like to participate in it. I want to work within myself. How can I protect myself? If I'm unable to receive love from this soul, then how can I receive love at least from me? So I think I will pause here and let's see, Jayshree, what do you have to say?
Going back over why we are doing what we are doing is that we get used to, addictions are many, and the addictions can be also of feeling sad and not feeling good. You are just having a fear of, you are afraid to feel better, and that's also an addiction. You let go, then you are suddenly unstoppable, and now you're going to have so much, but you cannot let that go because you're afraid what's out there. Even though it is out there, it can be a bigger and better. That's what we can have an affirmation on. But they're afraid of letting it go. They're kind of happy where they are because they can justify their sadness, their depression on something which happened in the past. That's one of the biggest reasons why people don't go and don't let go. The second thing is that I look at it this way, that I do not want to house anybody else's problems. Why should I make my body worse than this? Something happened, somebody else did something which is very bad compared to what you think. It may be right for them, but compare what you think. That it, to you, it's black and white. That this is totally a cheating, totally this, and suddenly hurt you. They don't have a power. I would not give them power to hurt me. I mean, it's like having a key to your pleasure, to yourself. I'm going to protect it. I'm going to keep it in my pocket. I'm not letting anybody disturb me. Once you let go of that power, anybody can do anything, and any situation can irritate you. And then you say, oh, because of that, I'm irritated. Because of this, I'm irritated. Because of her or him, I'm irritated. That means you are powerless. And what is our soul? The most powerful it can be. So if you become powerless, you are bechara. And when you are bechara, what can you do? Your potential is low energy. So much. So if you look at it that way, that I don't want to be a victim, I don't want to be a bechara, and that's what happens. Somebody else controls you. Somebody else knows how to make you unhappy. They are not happy because you are happy. They have many reasons that they do that. They may be envious. They may be different agenda. They may not want you to be successful, or they just don't know, simply ignorant. Many times. So think like that, that you do not want to give anybody the power. You don't want to house anybody else's problems. You can help them. And when we go to the power to tolerate, we'll talk about that next time. But that's what it is. But first, exercise power to withdraw here. Get out of that role identity who hurt you. Who are you? You are a pure soul. Who is that person who hurt you? Another pure soul. Any role identity here? No. No. So then what happens? Disengage all the negative emotions. So that helps you to power to let go. And that's why I would say that power to withdraw is very important before you go to power to let go. Get out of that role identity. And do not you let anybody be powerful over you. Don't de-weaponize them. Totally de-weaponize them. Don't let them take your pleasure away, happiness away. So that's what I would say.
Jayshree Ben, I have a question.
Sure.
If, for example, if you hurt somebody
Mm.
and you ask for the forgiveness and that person is not willing to forgive you, then how can you let it go?
Okay. But let me distinguish. This is, I know it's very difficult to make everything distinct. Power to withdraw is only for protection. Protect yourself, right? Now you're ready to have the best potential and you're stopping your damage. It has nothing to do with anybody else or anything, not even the story. Power to let go is something you are holding on to. It has nothing to do with how other people behave presently. Zero. Nothing to do with present. Number 3 is power to tolerate. So all these things that when somebody is not forgiving you, what you do and all those things is tolerating that particular person will be addressed in next power. So right now we want to keep the distincts very clear. We want to make everything very specific. That the first power has nothing to do with anything, anywhere. It's the present situation. And how do you stop your damage? How do you protect yourself? That's about it. We are not talking about solution of the situation. It's only protecting yourself. So first thing you want to do is protect yourself. The second is nothing you want to hold on. So you are free and clear to take care of the solution. So the second power is what you're holding on to. Now, somebody doesn't forgive you is not our problem. It's not we are holding on to. It's we are holding on to the thought of how other person should be behaving. That's not the power to let go. Power to let go is something you are holding on and not allowing yourself to progress. And that's the power to let go. There are many powers which will come along the way, but let's make this distinct, very clear understanding in our mind that this power is for these things, This power is for these things. And I know the situation itself asks us to take care of so many things, and we would love to jump to such solutions. But if we do it in a methodical way, we'll reach the solution very amicably, very happily. What do you say, Miss Sister?
Thank you.
They used to it, they get addicted to that. Very true.
Becoming familiar with our familiar environment, and we feel that that environment is burdensome, but we don't realize we actually take that environment with us wherever we go.
That's right.
So I think
Exactly.
the main reason is not letting go of the place or people, but really letting go of the impressions within that we are holding, certain tendencies, certain abilities. So, just wanted to touch base a little bit on the sister that shared about somebody like I think you were asking about the apology, right? Somebody said something. I mean, you said something, and you asked for forgiveness, and that soul is not ready to forgive. I think personally, what it is that I have to learn first understand where does my karma ends, my responsibility ends, and where does the other person's responsibility begins. If it is something on my part that I've done a mistake, then my responsibility is definitely to ask for forgiveness. And then that's it. It ends there. And then I have to give the other person the freedom to decide how they want to respond. I need to give them the space. I need to give them the full choice, how they want to respond. Yes, if they accept my forgiveness, good for me. If they don't, then at least let me give them that space. At least let me tell myself, I've done my best. I've done my best. Whatever I had to do, whatever I felt I should do, I did it. And now I'm leaving it up to them, what decisions they are going to make, what choices they are going to make. It is up to them. So then I no longer need to carry that burden. So this is really what it means to not to take in someone else's karma within me. I already have too much to work with. I don't have to add in to my plate. And another example about somebody in the chat, right? You shared about somebody insulting you. A few years ago, we were doing this big service project in the center. So we were a group with the students. We were doing this project, and so I was like delegating like task. We were discussing together who should do what and who can take care of what area. And I remember this one particular student. Student has a little bit of a temperamental nature, a little short, easily. She can get angry or annoyed a little easily. And when you're working in a group, you have to deal with varieties of personalities. You'll have to adjust with varieties of personalities. So whenever we would have meetings, as we would share, and then whenever she wouldn't, whenever her ideas wouldn't be accepted, then she would get upset. And and you can see then when she would speak, there's just a lot of annoyance. And then whenever I would say something and I would share, and then people would agree. So she felt like bad. Why is it like when she has to say something, nobody accepts, and then when I say something, people would agree and say, okay, let's do it. So I actually, one point of time, just by accident, I heard wasn't intentional, but when I was passing, just accidentally, I heard her talking and over the phone. And I remember that she was talking ill about me to another student. And I think she didn't realize that I was there. I actually came to get something. And then when she realized that I was there, and then immediately she just cut the call. So that sort of brought me hurt. Um, like behind the back, you're saying ill about another person. Why wouldn't you just confront or just share whatever frustrations you would have? So I was waiting that she would come up and she would talk about it and she would share, because I didn't want to interfere and say, do you have a problem or is everything okay? Because the soul has to be ready to come up and talk to me. And that never happened. So I think, I did feel hurt. I did feel like disappointment for some time. And I felt like there has to be some transparency if we are working together. And if there is any difference in conflicts, I think it's good if we share and let's just clarify it. But that never happened. And so then after, just feeling that disappointment and everything, I just realized, I asked myself, but why should I suffer for someone else's personality? It is probably her personality. That's the way she is coping with whatever is her experiences or pain. That's her probably method of coping, but that's not my method of coping. So why should I feel bad when somebody is thinking differently than me or is behaving differently than me? So I said, okay. And I sat in front of Baba, and then I just emerged that soul. And I said, Baba, this child needs a lot of love. This child needs to feel respected. So in my meditation, every day, just focusing on that soul, I always visualize that soul is smiling, and I look at the soul's forehead, and I say, okay, Baba, give this child a lot of love and a lot of respect. This child needs that. So I think over a period of time, things became better, relationship became better. In fact, what I've noticed was she was able to accommodate with people in the group. She was able to listen. Actually, initially, she wasn't even listening. She would always just jump in and just correcting or putting in her ideas. But now she's able to listen for the other person to finish their sentence, which is a big thing, a big change we saw in her. She's able to calm herself down, let the other person finish their sentence, and then she would share her opinion. So it is, this idea of letting go, like I said, is that for me to even unconsciously also not to take in the pain of someone else's choices. If someone's personality is such, then let it be. But what is your personality? What do you want to do? What would make you feel good? You do that. Okay. I think, Jayshree Ben, would you like to add, or we can go into meditation now?
No, I think we well covered it. And I think it will be covered more as we go for the further powers, because they are all mix of everything right now. So, yeah. So I think we can go for the affirmative meditation, which
Do you want to do it?
I can
Do you
do
want
that.
to do it? Okay.
6 things I just told you. 6, 7 things. One, that you are robbing your present moment, right? Even if you have nothing to bank on, but you have something which may be happening, whatever you are holding on is definitely a low energy, right?
Yes.
So present, you can make it. You have a control over the present. You have no control over what happened. So you're converting your low energy stuff to the high energy, because in the present, you are going to have a control. So that's your high energy, right? So you're robbing that. Then you are also robbing, you are also lowering your potential, right? Because you are thinking about that, you are not fully functional. Wherever energy goes, wherever attention goes, energy flows. And wherever energy flows, things grow. So the story gets expanded. Right? Energy by physics does not ever grow in the amount. It does not ever go in the number. Right? It gets only transformed. Science student will tell you physics by principle, by physics. Energy can be turned into mechanical to electrical, electrical to kinetic, whatever, right? But if you want to, there's no growth in the energy. So what it can only transform from one to another. So if you have all those windmills going, generating the electricity, that going movement, mechanical, gets converted into electrical, right? So that's an energy. Now you have only fixed number of energy. Now if you utilize it in the attention, part of the energy went there. So how can be your full potential, right? Because you are functioning at the lower energy. So wherever attention goes, energy flows, 100%. This is 100%, right? If I think of you, Rashmi, I'm going to only think of you at this moment. My part of the thinking for my husband is going to be, my family is going to be different, right? So you are already robbed of the energy, you're robbed of the present moment, you're robbed of your potential, you're damaging your body, right? You're expanding your story. You are not enjoying the joy it may bring, something better, something which could be coming. In your case, you already know what's going to be in the future. You don't know. So how we cannot even say that you don't have something better coming, right? Many times it happens in the real estate, and I think of it that time, that you are looking for houses, and then you really lose a house because somebody else overbid you. And for any reason, or you took a little time and you procrastinated, and then all you're thinking about it, and by that time the other house gets sold and you don't get it, right? So my husband sometimes used to tell me, don't worry, there'll be always better. And I still remember, and I don't think I have never ever had to worry about that. I have always found a better choice. We wanted to rent this house where we are living, and we looked at so many bigger ones, small ones, this and that. And one I lost because we were one day late in writing an offer. And I was saying, but I don't think I would have loved any more house than what I live right now. So we don't even know what's out there in the future, right? So that's why you cannot even make that conjuncture of thinking that, I don't have anything in the future coming better. Who knows? You don't know. Just the way we don't have control over past, we don't have a control over future. Why should we let go of something we have control on? Is the present. Right? Okay. So
Thank you, Jayshree. Thank you, Vino Ben.
So,
let's
Jayshree Ben, should I put
Yeah.
up the light on the screen?
you can.
And I will mute everyone. So we have no disturbance during meditation. Wait a minute.
Sit comfortably. I am the being, powerful, Shaktishali Atma. My every thought is my choice. No matter what happened in the past, no matter how big the thing was, no matter how deep the pain was, I am this, I, the soul, have the power to delete the pain and let go the experience. The delete button is in my hand, and I am very powerful. Today, this moment, that thing, that thought is leaving me, and is going away. You want to picturize this, that today, this moment, that thing, whatever is bothering you, whatever is holding you, that thought or that thing is leaving me and is going away. That negative energy came out of it. I see the negative energy coming out of it, and I see that it's out, it's over. It was the past and it's gone now. I don't see it anymore. Period. Om Shanti.